Hi there guys, my name is Gaurav and today I want to welcome you to Avid Secret Studio. I'm joined by an awesome guest called Mark who's worked with some amazing names out there and also tracking for Justin Bieber. But instead of me doing an introduction, I always ask my guests to give an introduction. So Mark, could you give an introduction about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I'm an engineer and a mixer. My day-to-day is still recording, and I've been doing this professionally about 10 years now. Went to college in 2011 to really, pursue engineering, and after I graduated in 2014, have been working, in pro facilities ever since, and moved to Los Angeles about 3 years ago, and really have elevated my career ever since I made that move.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and I'm just grateful to be working as a music professional every day, man.
And where did you kind of start? What was your first big break, or more like how did you get your foot in the door?
My foot in the door was from school, really.
Okay.
The head of my program at the school really liked me, and then so he was tapped in with studios all around and new owners, and he got me my first interview as a assistant, and that's what got me in a pro studio, working for real, getting paid for real, and then all the connections from there just all blossomed over the years to where I've gotten to now, But really, school was the first, got me in the door. Now I'm working, and because otherwise, it's kind of hard you just have to meet somebody really to find your way in.
It's so hard, and it's so hard to meet people nowadays. I mean, you got social media and stuff, which is great.
It makes it harder though, because we're all so separate. So if you don't know that person, then social media is kind of useless.
Yeah, because then they're not going to reply. They're going to be like, no, I'm good. So it's definitely, I think building a connection in person is something you can't beat, no matter how virtual we go in this world. But just being there with people and talking to them is one of the most crucial things, I think, of this new world of post-COVID. I saw it's really strange though, because even being at events and stuff, I think it's so important, because it's I thought it was going to be the opposite, where we're going to go virtual, Zoom, blah blah blah, and now everyone's so fatigued. It's you want to be in
still
the
nothing like person-to-person action.
No way, man.
And that's the same.
Old school is the new school.
And that's where the old school way is you'd have to go knock on the studio door and actually meet someone face to face and meet a manager and talk to them. Where now it's a lot harder. So you always need somebody to help co-sign you and kind of get you in the door.
Awesome, man. And then obviously I know you've recently been working with Justin Bieber, right? Quite closely, and maybe just tell us how that happened and how you kind of got to that point. And today actually we're going to be going through your tracking template as well. So if you can just maybe touch on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around his world for a couple of years now, really, and because I was working for one of his main songwriters, Pooh Bear. And I got one of my really big breaks was in 2018 when I got to work for Pooh Bear.
Wow, man.
And this other producer that I love, Harv. And he does all his music direction and everything too. So I was always around the Bieber world. I had been introduced to Josh Goodwin through Pooh Bear just because we were working at the studio. And after a couple years of just working, I ended up just getting a random call one day from Harv, who was working with him, and said, hey, Josh is out of town. We need somebody right now. Can you come through? And I came through that day, and ever since that day, they've still just been, they called me back, and now Josh is always his person for sure. But I definitely help ease the recording workload, because he's got so much mixed stuff going on. But
that's amazing, man.
And that's how I kind of got into this world in the most recent months. But I've been around him for years, but it took a solid 3 years before I even got to have that shot that.
Dude, it's the whole. It's kind of refreshing to hear different stories this time, because obviously you hear the stories about the standard runner, kind of didn't go to college, didn't go to university, didn't go to school for it. But it's nice to hear the school thing worked out.
It didn't work out for anybody else. I honestly think there's maybe one other person from school that it worked out for, but I think it's also people's mentality,
And that was Full Sail, did you say?
I went to IEDT, as another school. It's basically like Full Sail.
Right.
Same thing. But it worked out for me somehow, because it got me that assistant, and then I worked my way up the ladder still. But then I got the connections that I got me to Los Angeles, and meet the crew that I'm with now.
Oh, awesome!
But I love school, man. I learned so much cool shit from school.
That's amazing. That is so good. I mean, the thing is, again, there's so many stories to get to the position, but at the end of the day, it's everyone's stories that I hear and I talk to is it's taken a long time to get there. It's not easy. Like you said, Bieber was there, but you didn't get right to the door.
Yeah.
It's like the assistant working in the studio.
You're there, but you're not there.
You're not getting that full credit. You're there. You're cool. Do the session, but you're not fully there.
Yeah.
But then to get that trust It takes time.
Yeah,
you got to.
It's all phases that you have to do for everybody.
Yeah.
You have to pay your couple years to get to the next level and get to the next one. And I've just paid my few years, and now I'm up to this level. So I got more years to get to where the rest of this craft can go.
Awesome. Well, Mark, I want to I'm looking at your session, and it looks absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And I want to say again, guys, I just want to make this clear. It's so hard to get sessions and to show stuff. So Mark, I just want to say a massive thank you, man.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm glad, man.
I know how hard it is to just even show stuff. Obviously, sometimes you get copyright stuff, or sometimes you might get this and that.
If it's audio, for sure. But I don't care about my template for sure. Some people are coveted with it, but no.
No, you're good, man.
I'll show you.
Well, thank you so much anyway, dude. And yeah, let's we don't need headphones for this session.
No, there's no audio.
We're gonna walk through it. We're gonna question Mark and stuff. And I mean, I'm a fan of anyone who tracks. So Mark, I'm a fan of you, obviously.
Appreciate it.
Let's dive in, man. Where should we start with then?
I mean, because I'm a recording engineer most of the days, but I still mix a lot of records, especially if I work for my producer Harv, who I love. I'll mix a lot of the stuff at the end of the day. So I have this basic, simple kind of layout here where if you're just going to do a songwriting session, you can just drag your 2-track up over to here after you import it to the little instrument track. I have a little scratch track, so if anybody's doing melodies or has a little melody idea, they're like, hold on, save that idea for me. I'll drag it over to the scratch track and keep that there. I obviously have a record track, and that's just a dedicated, so I don't ever have to I'm just recording on this one here and dragging down to these ones below here. And all these are going to a little lead Vox aux over here. These are all just lead vocal land. I have a little thing for ad-lib vocals here, and then we have stacks for backgrounds and everything too. And what's cool, the first thing I do if we're doing any kind of songwriting thing is obviously you're going to bring in the 2-track and line it up.
Right. I was going to say, what do you kind of do to the 2-track when you put it in there?
The first thing I do is just gain it down 10 dB for sure. And then I'll tab the transient to the first transient, and so I can have it locked right onto the grid.
Wow.
So, because you want to be flying things, you don't want it to be milliseconds off. So I'll just chop off any dead space, gain it down 10 dB, so you have headroom for the vocal to come through, or anybody recording over so they can hear themselves. And then the next thing I do is with modern music, all these singers want auto-tune at this point, pretty much everybody. And so the one amazing thing with Avid was with the groups here, I'll make them active here. Now you can see on the second one, all of these things, you see how they just all act together?
Wow, okay, right.
So if I would just need to go set the auto-tune key real quick, I'll be D major or D minor, we'll say that, and move it up, and we'll make it active too. And then if we go down to any of these ones, we pull up a new, if it wants to load, I just gotta be patient here. See, D minor, 0. So it just applies the same thing to every single vocal track. So you don't have to go and copy and paste or copy and drag. It's just I know the key, I set it here, and every single track that I have is in that right key and in the right thing. So, and then once you figure that out, you just turn off your groups here, and then now they all act
separately,
separately for sure. So it's just a great way just to get going. So all I want to do is just start recording, dragging down, and then start mixing, really. Because once you can drag down some audio, let me create some audio here. I'll drag down and say that's the first vocal, for example. Then over here, normally these come up, but I'll have all these automation lanes already ready to go too. So as we're cutting line by line, I can just go and draw some automation for my vocal, press record, we go again. They have another one, so let's just make another little track. Oh no. Let's copy
British
that.
keyboard.
There we go.
It's a British keyboard.
Oh, that's why I'm why is everything so crazy right now? All right, okay. So we'll have another track. So while we're recording over here, I'll just paste the automation or anything that I want to do so I can hear just effects right on playback. So just we're nudging along line by line, and I have all these different effects ready to go. So all we have to do is just make them live and and start just creating your throws the whole way. And especially after you do your whole hook, you can just copy all your effects or anything, fly it over to the next hook, and it just makes things very easy. And especially what I also do over here is I have all these things kind of ready to go, because you never know if you're going to start recording drums, bass, amps, guitars, whatever.
Like live instruments and stuff, right?
Yeah, because I still do a lot of live stuff, so I'll just have all those, but I don't want to look at any of that. The
Wow.
folders are where it's like going crazy here. So I have like anything red is all like a record track, so I just do the whole record, drag and drop method. That's what I want to do, so you don't have to fumble around with playlists or anything like that. So anything that we need to do, if we just need to live bass, synth bass, mono, stereo, if we need to do amps, guitars, DI, all that stuff's just ready to go. So I can just record and then drop down and drag and drop the whole way, you know? And they're all being sent to, you know.
And how much live stuff would you do with like someone like Justin Bieber then? Would you do quite a bit?
It's medium. I would say like 75% of it, it's mostly vocal, but he plays drums, bass, guitar, like so, and we always have all the stuff ready to go whenever he's in. So he'll start a song off with drums and then go and add a piano line and then go over and add and he'll have live players there a lot too. So they might have like guitar, bass that they'll add on, and
so a whole band kind of vibe, right?
Yeah, no, his band will come in for sure too, but he one-man bands it like a lot of the times where he hops over until I grab a little loop of drums, drag it down, and then he hops over, does a little piano till he figures out whatever 4 or 8 bars is cool, get that, and then he goes and records a vocal right over it too.
So it's like a whole, man.
Yeah, so it's, I just always want to be prepared and have anything. So if we're doing horns, keys, whatever, you know, it's easy enough to put it in a folder and hide it off, so I don't have to fumble around with creating tracks. The only thing I gotta do is select the input and just ask the assistant or whatever, like, yo, what's the horns on? 2? Okay, cool. Like, and then when I'm ever ready to mix or anything too, I have all these ready to go. So as I just import files, I can just send them I drag them, drop them right into here and just assign them to a bus, and then they're all going all into my little mix bus world here.
Oh, and, okay. So this is your tracking template rather than mixing template, right?
This is my both. This is both of mine, yeah. I have 2 templates, really. This is my main, like, mixing and tracking template for sure. If I'm mixing, I pull up this template for sure, too. But, like, really, when I record Justin, though, it's the simplest template, because I use Josh's template on that one. And it's the most bare bones template. It's like, it's straight up 2-track, 4 vocals, a lead Vox aux, 4 tracks for backgrounds and an aux for that, and then a handful of effects. And like no plugins active or anything like that. Like very very
raw
simple.
And then kind of does everything.
And builds it along the way. But like when I do anything else, or if I'm doing mixing, I always use this template for sure, because like it has all of these things ready to go. Much crazier. Where the other one is very just simple, and I'll just have enough for like a little small drum setup, bass. Where this one is more like, if I'm going in with a client I don't know, I'm gonna use this one because I know I have it all. Like the Justin stuff, I know I just need like 4 drum mics, a bass, piano, and a vocal, and I'm cool, really.
And it's just crazy that you could. Another thing is like about Pro Tools itself is the fact that you're sitting here with me, going through this, showing me this, and as you were saying, you take it to the studio, plug some stuff in, and then you can have your mic set up, you put the drums, and it's just nuts because I can now see this in a bigger environment. The whole band and stuff. Taken over here just with a laptop and the iLock. We're going through the same session.
And it makes it so easy, and like every studio pretty much has it too. So you know, like as long as you have a solid template, you're gonna be able to pull it up and at any of these facilities. Then just simple stuff. I have a little folder for everything's all in folders. We're gonna do vocal effects and everything like here, and then we have like Mixland. And one thing I do a lot, I have all these sub buses here going into like all my music and everything will go into this instrument one, and any vocal stuff and vocal effects will go into here. And I keep these sends off of here, right? So when we go to bounce at the end of the day, I always want to have an instrumental and a cappella at the end of every session too. With like, especially when you work with a songwriter, like working with Pooh Bear, I'm doing hundreds of songs, and he's sending them out to Justin, or he's sending them out to whoever. Like he's doing, so they always need an instrumental a cappella so they can cut their versions. So every time I bounce, it pulls it off of that send. And then what I do too is, like, say this is the instrumental track, I'll just rename it so like I know the instrumental is 140 BPM. And it's, what were we at? We were D minor on this one, right? Now when you go to bounce, it pulls up already and auto tags the thing, So then, we could do the song 20 different times over, and I don't have to keep renaming it 140 BPM,
That's smart,
whatever
dude.
version, because all it does is, song 1, and it'll put it right afterwards.
That really is a template.
Yeah, and that's where my template is the most important for me, where I can balance at the end of the day, and I know I have instrumental acapella coming off of those sends along with the main mix too. Cool, like we're good. You bulletproof yourself every single time. Right.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that was the one thing with my template where I'm always like, all right, I'm bummed when that doesn't happen, because then you have to go and like select it, balance multiple times, or.
I mean, that's a smart way to look, because it's a template that you've set up, and I never even thought to have an instrumental or a cappella. I've never seen that before. Like, that makes so much sense, because that's literally what you need.
Yeah. I've just done it so many times where I'm like, oh man, and they want the files right now. It's not like,
of course,
you want to wait and like, oh Mark, you're still bouncing over there. Like they'll start giving you crap, So like, I know I can move on and do 5-6 songs in a day and have it all done as soon as I bounce. And even if I'm mixing too, I have like all these ones going that are pulling off of all of these sends here. So if I need to just quickly make a acapella, I can just mute the instrumental there. Or if I need a quick TV track or whatever, I can just mute the leads. Or I can just isolate the backgrounds. I can just mute. Like, they're all right there too, coming off of all of this little mix world sends. So it's useful for recording or mixing, either or. So I just know, like, if I pull up here, like, I can get in and get out pretty quickly.
What about, just quickly, can we just maybe have a look at your vocal chain?
Yeah.
You'd use? So you'd obviously have your outward gear, which is standard, or standard or not, but But then you have, what's in your record track?
My record track is pretty simple. It's usually just a little EQ shelving off, but I usually keep this EQ just to trick non-HDX or HDX systems. Because like sometimes they won't have auto-tune artists, or they won't have any of these things
hybrid stuff,
hybrid. Like I'll do that so I can trick the auto-tune and just have a little.
That's pretty smart, man.
Yeah, just have that ready to go. If not, you just kill it and you don't really need it if you're in a native system. Auto-tune, and then I just keep a little thing for parallel compression.
Oh wow, you use
this purple audio one. I love this one.
MC77.
This one's really cool.
Dude,
just a simple,
I love this emulation. Have you seen the real one as well?
Yeah.
It's so smooth. Yeah, I love it.
It's really nice.
For vocals as well, it's so beautiful.
This one's great. So that's for a simple little parallel compression. I have that on my main bus, like, and then a simple little one. I don't have anything. I love plugin lines. They're amazing. But I don't have like anything engaged or nothing, it's all empty, just empty template ready to go.
Okay.
So sometimes I won't even use that one really and just try to keep it simple, because I still want to keep the latency as low as possible when they're recording. But really, when I drag down, and now it's going to this bus here, that's where this is my main thing is that I use the Avid Lo-Fi, man, is like...
Fourth person, this NAMM show.
That's pulled this one up?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's true. It's so simple. Don't need to change it. It works.
Oh my God. This is one of the most magical plugins, and it's so simple. And if you just do a 0.1, 0.1 or 0.2, 0.2, it's like, it's so effective. It's crazy. This plugin's great. So just to get a little bit of thickness and stuff, or a little, if you want to bring it down to 16 bits and take the
808 is mad.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
This one's so good. Yeah. Shout out to Avid, man. The lo-fi is so good. Then I just have a little Waves RVox, because it's just a simple drag down. Like, it's just that one fader that you got to pull down and you get compression just to get it like in your face. Then FabFilter Pro Q3.
Lows,
that's just, ready to control the lows usually. And it's all just doing subtractive things here. That's just like everybody. This is the, little standard for that. And then I love McDSP too. Wow, the 404, man, this one's a great multi-band compressor, and it just sounds so musical. And this is the old one too. They dropped a new one. Where, their stuff looks so old school now, but like they got in the future.
They made some new skins.
They did.
They look really good.
It was so funny, like, because people always see me pull these ones up and they're like, "What is that?" Like, but I'm like, I promise you, it doesn't look fancy, but it sounds really good.
That's the problem about today, though, isn't it? People just want that new updated skin.
I know, because
like, bro, it's just a skin.
Yeah,
it's just a skin.
They'll get fooled because the skin will look so cool, and then you think, oh, this plugin's got to be cool. And then you're like, oh, this just sounds horrible. It looks nice though.
I've tried so many emulations before because of that myself. I'm looking for that 73, and I've tried them, and I've been like, oh, no, wait,
you
that's
can't
weak.
do it. And then the purple audio thing, just so I can keep the same sound, parallel compression. And then I'll have this Waves D6 just to pull out little problem frequencies. And then I'll usually have this Waves DSR2.
Okay.
And then when I get into like mix mode, then I just drag this down here and then I just use the Pro DS instead and drag it over because this one just takes up more latency. But it's nothing crazy. I usually just have those as a base, and then I'm always swapping things out or adding because every song is so different and every person's voice is different. I'll usually add a couple other things or whatever.
That's it. You're making it work for you. I guess that's the best thing, and that's the beautiful thing about Pro Tools and templates that's so important is the fact that you can build this for you and like how you work. Like I've seen like messy templates, but it works for that person.
Totally.
They've got like tons, like 8 reverbs or whatever it may be, you know, but it all turned off and different settings. So just flick through them. Sit down, flick through them, see which one works for them. Or the session, or the replace them. Like there's so many options you could do with templates. I think that's the beautiful thing about building templates, man.
Yeah, man, it's so flexible because it's like anybody from music to post to like TV to live sound even are you like there's something for everyone, really.
100%. All right, Mark. Well, thank you so much, man.
Awesome.
You've been awesome. Thanks for showing that. That was like
course,
really
man.
like means a lot. Guys, thank you so much. Mark, where can people like find you or
Instagram really is the main place for sure.
Right. Nice. Cool, man. Well, thank you, dude. And guys, thank you so much, and we'll catch you soon.